Hey everybody. Yeah, it's today's topic has a little to do with what happened to me yesterday, and I thought about it and I was like, you know what, that actually does tie into some mental health issues as well. If anybody's ever gotten extremely dehydrated or don't you just don't hydrate enough. I used to really be a have this issue a lot. I never hydrated enough. And you can get to the point where your mind's foggy. Now, if you're already dealing with depression and anxiety, or if you run into depression and anxiety or some other issue at the same time, you can really crash. Um, the reason I asked that, Jake, by the way, was because of yesterday. I mean, I brought drink, but I didn't bring any food in now because last fall, being diabetic, I should have had a snack with me, and I hadn't eaten all day, and I didn't realize it, and we were off. And I didn't feel well, and I had to climb up a bank to get out from the river we were in. And yeah, it was fun. So that said, I started thinking, we should talk about a few foods and stuff because there's some surprising foods that I've learned in the past few years, like diuretics. If you eating a lot of foods that are diuretics, they can be really good for you, but at the same time, you got to make sure you have plenty of fluids like water, not just fluids in general. You got to worry about salt intake because that can get too high, especially if you have something like diabetes. Learning these things as you go along. So, yeah, my bladder's telling me I hydrate. Not that's funny, Jake. By the way, the fundraiser is still going. There's still some more things. Fresh O Three's channel coming up this week. This next week is going. He's gonna be back on. There's a few Lumi stands and stuff like that still being auctioned off. And with all that going on, I'm trying to still hit 30K. We're almost there to help him and his family because he didn't have insurance. So obviously, we're trying to make sure that they're okay with all the expenses that incurred. That said, garlic. If anybody likes garlic, because I love garlic, garlic is really good for your digestive system as long as you don't have some kind of adverse reaction to garlic, obviously. But it's a diuretic, so you have to drink water with it, and that's something that I was always bad at. I'd have spaghetti, but I'd have spaghetti with like an orange juice or something. One of the worst things you can do because they're both diuretics, and they tend to bring you down. So I wanted to talk about this a little tonight because we are coming into hot summer weather, and I don't want anybody to get sick, ill, or have worse mental health issues through the summer if you wind up in a spot that maybe gets closed down again or something. And it's bothering you anyway. You're in a depressive spot. I know that some people have relationship issues that have been kicking in throughout the pandemic. That can cause depression. You don't need to be sick on top of it because you're not eating properly. Um, but that said, we did also have, and I know I'm saying that said a lot, sorry guys, but I did see that Vaping Jedi did put in their Hydro Homies. Yes, make sure you stay hydrated. And I'm guilty of not taking drinks in the car often. I've been getting better, but I'm not really great at it. That's why I asked you about that, Jake. It wasn't to single you out. It's one of my guilty issues where I don't do it often enough when you get on a hot car trip or something. And especially if your car doesn't have AC, but even AC dehydrates you. So you should always have something to drink handy. But if you're in a car, you have that issue too of the water or whatever getting warm. So if you can, I mean, not trying to, hey, how you doing, Red? Not trying to like promote it because it's not. I'm not promoting it because it's not. But the coldest water bottle isn't a bad thing to have. Somebody else actually does get promoted, does promote them. It's something like that that'll keep your drink nice and cool is actually one of the best situations in the heat because although warm is okay to drink, drinking hot when it's something that's scalding hot might not be the greatest thing to help cool you off a little bit. It's better for your stomach though, supposedly. I've never been able to do hot and hot and cold and cold. I'm one of those opposite people. But yeah, I'm gonna actually do a little screen sharing this time because I do have some stuff pulled up, and actually I'll do screen sharing in a moment. But a simple search if you want to look for foods and stuff that'll work to help you. First one I want to get into is the bad ones because that's more important. Like things that I didn't know that actually are diuretics, they help you to move things through your system. But moving things through your system can also dehydrate you if it moves through quickly. Some of the diuretics work differently. Like watermelon is a hydrating one. It'll hydrate you so it moves it through your system. Grapes, berries, celery. Asparagus and garlic and onions are the opposite because they actually work in reverse order. They actually will load you up and force things to go through you faster. When you get into those, that's the ones that can be, if you don't have water on hand to go with it, aren't as good for you. As the heat comes, I don't want people getting heat stroke. I mean, I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but my arms are pretty damn burnt. So, as we get outside and do more work, if you're a person that lives in the country and works like I do outside, then it does help to make sure you stay healthy. We'll want to get into some of these others that are here and here. Well, actually, this is where I'll screen share. I'll screen share this one. All right. So now I just got to figure out how. It's been a while since I screen shared. There we go. All right, right here. We got cauliflower is actually something that hydrating vegetable. Now this I did not know. I mean, 92% water by weight. Now you think about it, you steam cauliflower most of the time when you have it, or you have it fresh. I didn't realize it was that high. So some of these surprised me. Celery makes sense because that's kind of a watery thing. Cucumbers, spinach for leafy vegetable. It's actually very high. Lettuce, 96% water. However, lettuce doesn't have much nutritional value. Iceberg doesn't anyway. Radishes makes sense. But what?
It just froze your screen. It didn't share it.
It didn't share. Okay. All right. So yeah, my typical thing with my video card lagging. It should. Did it still not share? I'm sorry, guys. As I said, I haven't done this in a while.
I still see just your frozen face on the screen.
Yes. So screen share is not working tonight. I bet you it had to do with that update I just did for Streamlabs. How lovely. There we go. So I just hit that. All right. So the screen share is not going to work, but I'll still go through the list. Sorry, guys, about the technical thing. Dangle clacks all around. You always have them. Bananas are another one. 74% water, but they contain a lot of potassium, which is an electrolyte that helps when you're depleted in hydration. So if you like bananas or if you're good with bananas, definitely something you'd want. Yeah, better for your system to have hot, like she said. It is technically better. I'm not one of those people who can do it. Anybody who does berries and water, strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, all those tend to be really well hydrating fruits. Ironically, milk is one of those ones that went back and forth. If you've ever been a coffee drinker, you know how that works, where one week coffee is like, oh, it's the greatest thing. The next week, oh, it's doing this to you. It's destroying your body. Milk is one of those ones that went back and forth. Milk was a bad choice in hot summer day. But according to research from McMaster University, Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, milk hydrates you better than sports drinks due to its composition of sugars, protein, calcium, and electrolytes. So there's an interesting fact. If you want something fairly new, something I didn't even know about until I read about it today while I was searching things out. As we go through these things, and I don't know what I did. Okay. Now, did anybody else? I'm just curious. Did anybody else know about that with the milk? That milk was actually good for hydration. Like, I've drank cold milk on a hot day. They say it curdles in your stomach. I've never actually had a problem with it. Think about it. Like, I know a lot of people do milkshakes. It's the same thing, just extra cold. But I did not realize that it actually was considered to be one of the better things to drink. I mean, it's always been one of those ones where they say, no, don't. I think it might be more of a lactose intolerance thing. Maybe you have a slight lactose intolerance, and then the heat combined with it might be an issue with some people. Only time would tell. Try it and see if it helps. I wouldn't put milk in a hot summer car, though, or something like that while you're traveling. Yeah, mouse on screen. Hopefully you guys can see me fine now. I apologize for the issue with the frozen screen. They did an update today again with Streamlabs. I don't know. Sometimes it gets quirky right after that happens. So the sharing screen thing won't work. And I didn't want to go deep into depth on things today. I wanted to keep it light and easy. I just want to make sure people were, this is more of a reminder. Try to get ready for the summer weather. Be ready for the heat. One of the things you should always do is make sure you have plenty of water on hand. If your car trunk doesn't get too hot, maybe keep a case of water in there for just in case. It's not just for you. What happens if you see someone like broke down on the side of the road? Having a case of water can be a very beneficial thing. I've actually had that happen before, where I was driving by, had a case of water from when I was coaching in the trunk of the car, and saw someone broke down. And of course, they're sitting out in the hot sun. So fortunately, I had water for them. Same thing. Be there for each other. I mean, even for other humans just on the road. Someone broke down. Someone needs a ride because something happens. Obviously, keep yourself safe. Don't just pick up hitchhikers at random unless that's your thing. And, it's a free country. And, well, I want it to be a free country. I think personal choice is a big deal, as many of us do. I haven't heard anything from Jake or Jedi recently. I'm just kind of curious. You guys, everything's it's unfrozen, right? Sorry, I'm double checking with my assistant. She has no idea she's got earbuds in, so she won't even hear me for 30 seconds.
It's not frozen. You're fine.
Okay. I see me. But is there anything that anyone recommends? You guys are in chat. I know there's not a lot of us here today. It's a Thursday before the vlog. It's hot out. If anybody's can get out and go. Red, yeah, great to see you here. I hope everybody's doing well. I know that some people have went on vacation recently and traveled, and people are off to work today. I have been so busy all week, and my head's been spinning. By the way, I might as well give a shout out now to the podcast so I don't forget. But What in a Horror podcast, we're recording again tonight. I already watched those movies as well, and trying to do that with doing everything we did all week was kind of interesting. Yeah. Addie, love you, brother. There's another thing. If you do vape, pair your vape with your fruits and vegetables. Make it so that you can have things that go together for your summertime treats, so you stay hydrated. Get something that'll make you crave a pairing that'll actually keep you more hydrated. It sounds crazy. It does. But if you can eat, like, say, berries or fruits, a lot of times those will hold over better than just drinking water. You can drink water all day, but it goes right through your system, whereas that slows down in our digestive tract, slowly absorbs the water in comparison, and it can actually make it so you can stay hydrated for longer periods more sustainably. And if you can get that base underneath a little bit of water, as long as you're not sloshing around in your stomach, it's actually a healthier alternative. Ian, I cannot wait for tonight's vlog. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I've been missing normalcy lately. We've had a little bit of everything going on. For those who that do watch, I should rather say, Fresh 03, he wasn't here this past week, threw me off. Wendy it's went an off week. A lot of people are getting busier as summer goes on. Some people are having some health issues and stuff and dealing with it, or helping people move. All kinds of things happening. But with everything going on, normalcy's off. And if anyone else is feeling that, let's try to keep the normalcy as best you can, because that stability means a lot in the end. Same with being there for each other when you can. Jangles, love you, brother. Stay hydrated, stay healthy. Try to, if you can get to more fruits and vegetables, do it. And try not to do canned as much as fresh if you can. I know it's hard, especially it's more expensive. It's not always easy depending on where you live. If you live in town, fresh fruits and vegetables aren't always available, or you got to watch them too at the grocery store. Getting fresh ones at a grocery store is not always easy either. Yeah, ready for summer means closing all the curtains. Blessy. Yeah, I turned on the heat pump, switched it over today. I've been sucking it up and only turning it on when it was on the cool nights, and today is like, nope, Nope, heat pump had to go on. It was way, way too hot in the house. It's about that time. Yeah. With as hot as it's been here for the past 2 days, I'm imagining a lot of the country's feeling it. A lot of the U.S. at least. Obviously, our Australian friends and such, they got the winter thing going on, so they're going into the opposite season. So you guys, stay warm. Have your cocoa ready for when you come inside, or your coffee, and keep yourself warm. Yeah, we got just keeping track of chat here. We got, yeah, and I hope you are doing well. And Jingles, if you don't mind saying, just let us know you're doing okay. Same with everyone else here. Ian, uh, Red, Vaping Jedi, Jake, Addie. How are you all doing? That's what matters to me every week, and that's what this show is all about, is just worrying about each other, making sure everybody's okay. Yeah, time to switch says that. As ironic as that sounds, it actually is true. Because if you're switching to an IPA, they are more water based, not as thick, and it's not gonna dehydrate you as much. Obviously, any alcohol dehydrates you to some degree, but if you do drink a beer or anything like that, the lower percentages are actually not necessarily percentage of alcohol, but the more water it has in it is actually going to be the most beneficial to you. And if you do wind up drinking a higher IPA or something, remember to drink a water, as a chaser or with it. My grandmother always used to make sure she had a lot of ice in her glass, or she'd have a glass of water ice water next to it whenever she drank. And she never had a problem with the heat. Uh, we used to do like family gatherings and cookouts and stuff where everybody got together outside all day long in 90 plus degree weather and never had an issue. Sometimes over 100 degrees. We never had an issue with anybody getting sick, but that's because my family had always, my father's side had always done that, always had water if you drank alcohol. It's a good practice if you can get into it. I know not everybody's that way, but it is a healthier way to live. Yeah, and Vaping Trucker, like I said, it's still going on. Let's hit that 30K mark. We can. We're so close. We're like, last I checked, we were a little over, just a little under $1,100 away. Actually, it's easier to check on here. I will let guys know exactly where it is right now. Actually, why didn't I just click the link in stream? It should be here. Let me go up. Make sure the link works too. That way I'm not just putting it, having Nightbot put it in here for nothing. Where are you? Anybody else see the link? I just realized I don't see the link. Yeah, I do. Right there it is. Oh no, that's Addie's link. Wow. Now I'm really confused. There it is. And there it is right there. Addie did put it in. Nightbot should be putting it in, but I didn't see it. And yes, we're still like 28,909. So $1,091 away from 30K for his family. And I don't know. I know it sounds ridiculous to get that little bit extra when you're doing so well, but that little bit can help his family more, as well as it's kind of like this. You're so close to that goal, you just wanna achieve that for someone. It's a sense of achievement to know that we did that for someone in our family that has. If you didn't get to know him, again, you can still look up his old YouTube videos. You can still look him up on social media, and you could still get to know Mike. He's one of the kindest people in this industry. His heart of gold, something we need more of, and we obviously, by watching these, it can help you be a little bit. I can't think of a better way to say it. It sounds like one of the old commercials, but be more like Mike. Be that kind person. Yeah. And strive to be that and be there for one another. I mean, I'm not opening up tonight because I want to keep it fairly short with the heat and everything, and as well as getting ready for Nick to be on Grim Green. But this Saturday, I'm gonna open up and we're gonna have a topic for everybody to be able to come in and instead of starting with a game like we did last week, if we wind up afterwards, if everybody wants to play a game toward the end, is what we'll do on Saturday night show. I'm planning this ahead of time to let you guys know in case you guys can show up. Just have a little bit of fun, but at the same time, I think we need to have a couple serious topics with things going on, things changing. We got to get into a little bit of, I mean, it's been a while since we got into a little bit of the advocacy side, and we did the other night after the gaming. It went a little that way, and I think it needs to be discussed again. It's been a while. That coming up, and we have some more dates coming up in the near future. Memorial Day's coming up. Remember that. Any veterans, or if you want to support your veterans, that's coming up really soon. I used to actually walk with the kids for the parade when my daughter was in middle school. You know, this is anytime you can volunteer your time to help out with something like that. Like if your child is in band or in chorus, be sure to be volunteer if you can for these things. Walking with those kids means a great deal to the kids, to make sure that they have an adult there and be kind to them. And it's, I don't know, I'm trying to think of how to explain it, but it's an important factor of their life that they'll remember forever. And it teaches them to be the person that you want them to be. If you can volunteer to help out your community in any way, always do if you're able. It'll make you feel better in the end, even if it's a time crunch situation. Don't put yourself in a bad spot, but put yourself in a spot where you can, if you have the time. A little bit of volunteer helps a long ways. We do as much as we can, whenever we can. Same as if you have a garden. If you do have a garden space and you grow a little bit extra, you could either do a fruit stand or a vegetable stand or whatever you're growing and put it out either for a small amount of money, or you could put it out there for free if you want. If we have extra this year, it's going to be out in the stand for free. That way there people can, you know, this is a tough year, and that helps people stay healthier. And that's kind of the way I'm going with my future's plans are to go that route and help people as we go through life. It's not an easy thing to get through this situation. We still have vaccinations going on, but again, vaccination is not a cure. It's a deterrent situation. So we're still living in a strange day and age. It's never going to be quite the same. And while we settle in, be there for one another, take a little bit of extra pressure off everybody. And yes, if anybody doesn't know who David Eric is, that would be, wow, I had it in my head a second ago and I'm losing it. By the way, it is like 95 degrees in this house. So, and yes, I got a hat on. I don't know why. Probably because my hair is way too long not to. One of these days I'll show you guys and you'll see how bad it is. But probably that'll be in an after show. We got, that would be for same as the winter doldrums. It is for suicide awareness situations. We want to be sure we're there for each other for that as well. The Misfits, I believe, are still doing or just finished up with some of the auctions. I think they might even still have some stuff left to auction off for that Misfits Assemble for their charity fundraiser, because they wind up getting some stuff in a little bit late. And they're still going with that. The amount of money they raised for that. I mean, I can't thank the community enough for what you have done this year. In a time when things are, during a time when things are so rough, so many people coming together and helping each other out. It almost brings a tear to the eye for real. I'm right there, because it's not something you see in another community. And let's grow this community beyond that and keep growing it. And if you aren't a part of the vaping community and you're here, thank you if you are a part of that as well. The more people we get involved, the better the world becomes. We need to change the world as best we can, one person at a time. Just like when we try in the vaping community, you try and save a life one person at a time. You try to help someone get better quality of life if nothing else. Even if it's too late, it's still better. Your quality of life is better. They don't wind up with the COPD typically reverts. And well, we can get into that on Saturday more, but it is on my mind, so that's hard because we had a really, if anybody didn't catch it, watch the second half of Saturday's stream. It's like a long one, but it really got deep into the advocacy side of things again, and that's because in the U.S. we are unfortunately under a lot of legislation that's coming into effect or has gone into effect that has changed things and made it hard for us to try and help people, which by definition in my mind is insanity. That should be what we all strive for, and to find out that the government is actually hindering that seems ridiculous. It's not a question. I mean, and then on top of it, being pro-choice person, like anything in your life, choosing your own personal path, your right to choose what you want to do to your body, and then you add to that you want to be healthier, and it's still being pulled away from you. This is something that doesn't sit well with me. And I know it doesn't sit well with many people. Like the people that are talking in chat right now, I know we all are kind of on that same page. If you are a part of the vaping community, or if you can understand that vaping is not the same as cigarettes, it's tough. If you're doing anything outside with the way the media has demonized it, it is hard to see that, but it isn't. It is much healthier than the original. Now, if you can do that and get into, if you do that and you get into that situation, and you know that it's a better thing, and research it, really research it, look up the actual science behind it if you're not a part of the community, and then promote it. Please, please promote it beyond the vaping community as much as we can. We need to open it up so that people can see it beyond Bloomberg media, because Bloomberg's media is very biased for a personal agenda reasons. Unfortunately, what are we going to do? What is this vaping you speak of? It's only the thing that has saved many of us from, smoking cigarettes, other alternatives that didn't work, or sometimes it's just a definition of sanity. Like one of the reasons I do this show is because a lot of us deal with some kind of form of, in most of the cases, it winds up being a form of depression or anxiety. That goes to the root of it. It could be for other reasons added, but those are the two that kick in all the time. And for many of us, without vaping, it would be very tough. It would be the anxiety alone, just by not having, everybody has to have a crutch of some sort. Why not have the crutch be 95% safer than smoking? It just makes perfect sense. And thank you. But we just keep on moving forward and keep helping people. Don't ever stop. And if you want someone to look to see what that is like, and you want to know how to help someone, watch this guy, Addy Tooney. Watch what he does in every chat. Watch him on every show. And he gets around. He's not just one spot. He's everywhere. He's everywhere you want to be. I don't know what that commercial was, but it's not enough, hopefully, for a copyright problem. But Addy is literally one of the, like a mentor when it comes to actually spreading good information about spreading, positivity and being there for the community. If there's anybody to strive for, to be in this community or be like, it's Addy. And Mike was a more quiet, a little bit more reserved, but he wasn't Addy. He was there to try and keep the peace. He was there as a kind-hearted soul in the community, which is one of the reasons why we want to support him. Unfortunately, I guess the 24-hour stream, you had to, this is also for anyone who has a YouTube channel, apparently you have to pre-authorize a 24-hour stream or it doesn't get saved. It has to be 12 hours or less is what I heard. Now, so that stream is not up, and that's very unfortunate because it was a very good stream all the way through. Lots of kind words, kind-hearted people, and the UK, our UK brothers and sisters that helped out, and everyone who helped behind the scenes. It's just like think of this as like a Picasso work or a Michelangelo. It sounds crazy, but everybody working together to create that. It's like a work of art to see a community come together. That's kind of probably a bad reference, but it does. It feels like that type of thing. You know how if you are an art person and you like are amazed by how these things work. This fundraiser, the Misfits fundraiser, what they've accomplished this year with those two, and that's not the only ones. Fresh 03 has done several fundraisers this year. There's another person that has actually been a really big part of the community. The fundraisers that he's done this year have helped out people in such a great way, and we just keep moving forward. Yeah, Addy Tooney's our Buddha. He is. He is one of my favorite people in the world. Truly is, and always will be. Uh, Nick is another one. Graham Green's another. He is at heart one of the kindest people you could meet. And that's what we need is more people like this. And you can be this person even if you don't think you are. You can do it. You can bring out that side of yourself. People aren't naturally always extremely nice. Sometimes it takes a big life-changing event. For me, actually, to let go a lot of my... I was one of those people that didn't forgive real well at all and didn't move forward. I'd get stuck on it and hold on to grudges. I had a heart issue, and I realized it's not worth holding on to. You know, and life has been so much better since that happened. My depression was still there until the community met this community and became more and more involved with it, and then my depression started to go away faster and faster and deeper, and I didn't even realize how depressed I still was at this point until I had the help of the community. And this does stem back to the root of the show. Your diet and nutrition values are extremely important. And if you are tend to not hydrate enough, or you have a bad diet, it's going to affect your mental health. If you have a pre-existing condition, say it's diabetes, and you're not keeping the proper, make sure you keep your snack food around if you need it for an emergency situation. I didn't, and I had a heck of a time just getting home. Thankfully, I was only a few miles down the road, so I could get home. But I should have been prepared. And sometimes thinking ahead a little bit helps. That can go with a garden. If you're still worried about working on a garden, putting a garden together, because this is still early enough in the year, you can still go get certain plants put out there that might be beneficial to have for healthy things. Maybe get yourself like an arrow garden for inside, or a window garden. Something there you can get fresh herbs or fruits. You never know what... I can't tell you what your situation is where you can grow, but almost anybody, even in a one-bedroom apartment, can grow something in there that's fresh, and there's a sense of accomplishment that comes with that. And some of the arrow gardens are so easy, you literally fill them full of water. You might have to get water from the store because it might have to be filtered. But you get the water, distilled water, and then you put it in there, and then you put in the nutrient. That's literally all you have to do other than let it grow. Set it on the right settings. Anybody can do that. And you can grow yourself some fresh herbs, and it can make you feel good. Plus it adds, I don't know how much oxygen a plant makes, but I know that having plants in your house does help with the oxygen in your house. Imagine if you're doing something you can actually eat on top of it. It's that self-worth that matters the most out of that. Yeah, she did pack that up. Thank God. 3-day painting job this afternoon. Kitchen hallway. So happy. Let's see. And if anybody missed it too, I can't remember which show it was on. Lady Liberty probably can help me because Addie probably won't want to say it. But you got to see it. I hope it happened on a show. But Addie dressed up in his full electrical lineman gear. He looked like a spaceman. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Seeing Addie do it come on the screen here, he did. I think that was during the charity stream, wasn't it? Or after the charity stream. Tonight, if you're able, even if you're not a part of the vaping community, Why don't you give it a look out? Give Grim Grain a try. Check out his channel. Watch it. There's going to be some good tidbits in there. You take what you can, move on what you can't. But let's try to keep, that information going. There's going to be probably some ranting here and there. I mean, lots going on. There's a lot of stress. It was live on the stream. Was it on a 24-hour stream that got taken down, though? I'm afraid it was. Um, but go over there and check it out. Maybe you'll learn something that you can spread to someone else if you're not in the vaping community. Maybe you can help push beyond our limits of where we are. Like if we're staying within the vape community, that's great, but it doesn't help others to understand what's going on and how badly it is needed and how much it helps and how many people it helps. We're going to try and also occasionally get, as people come on, by the way, if you're on Saturday, make sure you, if you can, share your story of how much better your health is now compared to before you found vaping. I know it sounds like a little bit, but if we don't start trying to reach out to more people, then we're kind of keeping ourselves in our closed group. And for one, lawmakers don't necessarily see that. If we can get it out there enough so it becomes word of mouth mainstream. We can't afford Bloomberg money. We just can't for advertising. Just unfortunately we can't. But we have a power that he doesn't have. And that's personal experience, actual personal stories, actual health benefits that we can prove just by the fact that think of how many people you know that have vaped. And Trucker was one of these, by the way. His lungs look so much better even toward the end than they did back when he was smoking. This is, I mean, his quality of life was better. Yes, unfortunately, in the end, cancer did get him. And yes, cancer, I'm going to bring it up because it's a terrible thing. It's the worst thing in the vaping community. Nobody wants anybody they care about to go that way. So that's my driving force, and I hope that's many of yours as well, is not to have anybody ever go through that doesn't have to. And one of the things we need to do is realize if you're beyond the community and seeing this, that's the ultimate goal. And if you've ever known anyone that's had cancer, you know how bad it is. You know how much it can tear a family apart, how much the bills can pile up, and how much it can destroy a life or lives around them. And her phone's going off. But when these things are, it threw me off. That is, if you can avoid that, that's what vaping does. It avoids that. It avoids the complications and reverses some of them in many cases. Quality of life is number one. Living a longer, healthier life. That's all we can ever strive for. And to have something that's such a positive be put in such a bad limelight lately, and so much legislation being pushed against it. Flavors being an important factor that, if you've heard this, we're going to talk about this quick. Flavors are important because if you don't have the flavors, then you can't constantly change it up. You can't, like, when things are, if you didn't want flavors, you would have stayed on the cigarettes. Honestly, it's hard to switch off them. Flavor's an enticement. You need that extra enticement to get you to become locked into actually continuing it. The better the flavors get, that's a problem with the PMTA situation. It slows down our access to more flavors unless you're in the DIY community. That actually stops a lot of people from maintaining or even switching over. The better the flavors are, the more people we are liable to get to start vaping over smoking. We need the transitioners. No, we don't want the teens to start. But if the teens are going to pick up a habit anyway, cigarettes or smoking, there is a healthier side of the two. One of them is a clear better choice than the other. We don't want it to happen either way. But if one's going to happen, I'd rather they not wind up having something that's a known cancer causer. Preferably your parenting skills work, whatever is and everything around there's structured lives or whatever. I don't know how to put that, because you got school, you got friends. Hopefully, they don't have to worry about either one. That's always the ultimate goal. But if they do, you're going to want something that's going to allow them to live a long, healthy life versus a non possibility of a much shorter or less healthy life. So, yeah. Yeah, you're never late, Disco. You're always precisely on time. But on that, we are going to get going here in just a minute. But please tune in to Nick Green tonight, Grim Green's channel, and watch him. And as I said, and I want this for replay as well. Tune into that channel, watch an episode, and you'll see what he'll give more information on what's going on in the vaping community, and maybe you can get a little limelight into what the vaping community truly is, rather than making judgment calls off media. And I think we need to push this more and more. So if anybody sees this, let's try and push it, because we're getting cornered in. We need to push away, push out. And word of mouth is what always did our thing. And yeah, and don't forget banana balls tonight. We got to bring banana balls back, because yeah, if you want to transplant a banana, you got to ball up the root in order to transplant it. So banana balls are very important if you want to transplant banana trees. So banana balls. Seems how Disco put those bananas in there like that. I had a feeling that's what she was talking about. And please be good to each other. And by the way, Disco, as long as we're doing shout outs there, I suppose I should talk about other things. Disco Potato 510 Connection on Monday nights, I believe it is. Monday nights, 5:10 Eastern. With Hooked on Funk. You got to go check them guys out if you just want some really good peace of mind, happy, calm, awesome atmosphere. Just hang out and have a good time if you have the time at 5:10 Eastern. Yeah, some of those fun bits. And like I said, be more like Addie. That's all there is to it. Be more like Addie, and you're going to be living a good, healthy, happy life. That's going to be my new slogan. Be more like Addie. Sorry, Addie. Love you, brother. That's it. I should get going, because I'm starting to think advocacy. I'm trying not to get deep into it. I want to do this on Saturday. I don't want to go too heavy tonight. And it's since the Saturday talk. If anyone wants to check it, like I said, second half of that after the gaming on Saturday, there's like 3 hours of it. Hooked on Funk and Lee, not the real Gerard Butler. We were doing sign outs, and somehow the fuse that's in me right now, the same thing, kicked into them, and now it's still lit in me, and I can't stop it. We got to start pushing out again. We got to start getting more people to not necessarily be converted, but converted into the thought process of accepting vaping. Not just to get people to convert over, but we need to get people to understand what it really means. To understand what harm reduction really means. Push harm reduction over everything else, because that is the true root of everything. Everything our community stands for centers around it. I love you all. If you can, please donate to Vaping Truckers thing. It'll be up for a little while longer. Let's try to hit 30K. And let's make Fresho 3 do his dance. All right. Love you all.